Let's stick to original Monopoly.
Hey y'all, Gaming Genius here, granting your gaming requests one wish at a time. So I got a question for you. Name me a famous board game that you played from your childhood. Well, some people will say Clue, and some people will say Battleship. I can only think of one board game that's lasted the tides of time. What started as an individual project in 1903 quickly became one of the most famous board games of all time when published in the 1930s. I'm talking about that good old game that you see down in the title card. Yep. It's Monopoly. Monopoly comes in all series and styles, from the many physical versions to many video game adaptations. Beyond that is merchandise up the wazoo and many attempts at Monopoly game shows. But with so many versions out there, so many different ways to play, are there any out there right now that are worth it? Well, today we're going to put that to the test. I have 8 different versions of Monopoly to play, and we'll see if any of them can charm the average player to their way of being played soon. But, since I have to explain the game of Monopoly, even if it's a little repetitive, we'll have to start with the good old version of classic Monopoly. Ah, the classic neon green board, full of symbols we've come to know. Community chest, chance, free parking, and all players start by picking a game piece. The classic car, dog, top hat, penguin, rubber duck, T-Rex!
Ooh, dibs on the T-Rex. Hey, wait a minute. Boy, what did he have the T-Rex? Where's the boot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a thimble here too. So this is what it feels like to be replaced. Yes, there were other classic pieces like the wheelbarrow and the thimble, but in time were replaced because of surveys Hasbro put out there. But with Hasbro doing this every few years, I don't think it'll stop anytime soon. Heck, even the thimble came back after some time, but I digress. Everything else is about the same, so now with our game pieces chosen, each player receives $1,500 in different colored money values. The cards are placed, and the game begins. Players roll the dice and move along the board in that many spaces. If they land on an unowned property, 2 choices are available. Either you pay the amount shown and own it, or you put it for auction, with the highest paying player winning the deed. If the property is owned, you must pay the rent shown on the deed, with increasing values depending on several statistics. You may also land on tax spaces where you pay the amount shown. Hey! The money goes to the bank!
Dude, you always put it in the middle. This has been here for like the longest time. Longer than Batman.
Yeah, man. Why infringe on one of the most classic rules of the game? You better check the rules again. Never put cash in the center of the board. You don't get a bonus for landing on free parking. Are you kidding me?
Oh, come on! I'm the Batman! This is
ridiculous!
This is
I'm a man of the 80s! Do you have any idea
I am Batman!
how ridiculous that is?
Just like this!
We'll come back to this later. You may also land a community chest or chance cards, a way to spice the game up in your favor or your opponent's. Read the card, do as it says, nothing could be simpler, but you'll hate it all the same. If you roll doubles, you can roll again, but roll 3 doubles in a row, or land on the designated space, and off to jail with you. You can pay bail, try to roll doubles to get out, or just so happen to get the get out of jail free card to escape. Should you be lucky enough to own all of the same color or special set, not only is your rent doubled, you can then use extra money to purchase houses to increase the rent for those spaces. However, you must have the same number in each property before increasing the amount. All spaces must have 1 house before upgrading to 2, for example. Ending with a hotel if you own 4 houses on a property. Pass go and get $200 extra, and that's all they wrote.
So, about free parking.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you're supposed to get double the money for landing exactly on go.
This is easily the worst version of Monopoly ever.
How often do you play with house rules?
I play with them mention rules. Is that enough?
Being killed up in Volume 3 was not worth this torture. Yeah, I guess we have to address the house rules. See, you have the main rules, but some players spice the game up with their own house rules. Special rules apply to the game for the variety's sake. Free money parking, double on go, ignoring auctions. This became such a common thing that even the video games give the options since it's commonly known. However, the big brains at Hasbro decided to not let anyone have fun. If you look right back here. Yes, the instructions, of all things, recommend you don't use house rules. Never have I seen a game be so strict with its rules, all for a short and sweet game.
It's like telling you to ignore the Riddler trophies in Arkham City.
Or like telling you to push aside the side stories in the Yakuza game. It's almost like Hasbro doesn't want us to hate this game. You're actually not far off. Really? Just like a certain party with a plumber, Monopoly is known to be a friend-destroying experience. Not only that, but a huge time-consuming game as well. Sometimes lasting up to 3 hours or more if you're lucky. Hasbro's way to cover it up is to tell people to ignore house rules and play the game exactly how they want you to. Obviously, this doesn't really work, and Monopoly still has its reputation front and center.
Not gonna lie, Batman feels the burn. Batman needs a new game.
Or a different version of Monopoly. Gamora's gonna be pissed. We got the nitty-gritty out of the way. Let's get into the special versions I happen to own. First up is the Boy Scouts of America version. This was released around the organization's 100th anniversary, which, as a former Boy Scout around that time, I knew I had to own it. Most of the time, different versions amount to aesthetics, in the pieces, the cards, and the properties. For instance, this version has the Scout sign, a pair of binoculars, a pitch tent, a backpack, a skillet, and a boot. Now we have the boot!
All is right in the world. Just like Batman.
Properties represent different Boy Scout achievements and awards, from the Cub Scouts all the way to Eagle Scout. Railroads are replaced with different merit badges of movement, like canoeing and hiking, Community Chest is replaced by the emblem, and Chance cards are replaced by the 100 Years of Scouting. The different cards are what they say, sticking to the theme. Other than that, and very minor changes, it's the same Monopoly you've come to know. And once again, the instructions advise you not to use house rules like free parking.
Oh, come on!
Easy there, Dark and Moody. Let's just move on to another one.
This cannot get any worse. Goodbye, everybody. Batman will remember you in therapy.
He goes to therapy? Oh, I get it. Very brave. And very bold. SpongeBob Monopoly, released in 2014 in a special sparkly version from the original 2005 version. Gone are the silver pieces of 6 characters, and here are 4 less detailed moving pieces from SpongeBob the Game of Life. Uh-oh. The board is okay, just with the characters all around, nothing outright special. Once again, properties change to SpongeBob locations, like the Krusty Krab and Goo Lagoon. Community Chest is replaced with Treasure Chests, and Chance is replaced with Oh Buoy. I see what they did there. Strange enough, railroad spaces are gone from this version, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Otherwise, it's Monopoly. Not a lot of... Hoopla! Not a lot of... Hoopla! Not a lot of... Hoopla! Hoopla! Not a lot of hoopla about this one. Now are we done?
No!
Of course The Simpsons got their own version, and ironically, this is the one I had the most experience with. I played this version as a child, and though I lost the original, it got re-released in 2019. The newer version having gold tokens instead of silver, for Barton the Car, Jebediah, Kang, the Three-Eyed Fish, Santa's Little Helper, and monorail driver Homer. Each property is based on a Simpsons landmark like Burns Manor, Duff Gardens, and Moe's, and railroads are replacement monorails. The board is still beautifully detailed, with lots of cameos that I stare at often just to see if I missed any. The money even has characters for each bill. SpongeBob only has Not Cortex on it. It is a better version in terms of licensed properties, and I would say to search out this one if you're a Simpsons fan for sure. Oh, and no house rules again. Sorry.
Okay, man, we really need to change it up. I am sick of classic Monopoly.
We really need to hit the jackpot here. That'll work.
Chance time!
Now it's time to get into the special versions of Monopoly, starting with one of my personal favorites, Monopoly Jackpot. Look at the flashy board with neon playing pieces, including the
Food! This is already one of Batman's favorites.
The game is similar to the original Monopoly, but with a special twist, or spin in this case. You still buy properties, but any money spent on them go to free parking, which at long last gives you money when you land on it.
Praise the almighty four!
All is right in the world. Again.
Not so fast, gentlemen. And Batman. There's still the matter of the chance spaces. Land on a chance space, or roll a chance on the dice, and it's time to place your bets. Bet the amount you want and spin the jackpot wheel, where anything can happen. A free property, multiplied payouts, even add the money to free parking, or even steal a property. And this, of course, is what makes the game so enjoyable. Plus, if you own the property the wheel lands on, you get the money on top of it all from the bank. The game continues until the bank runs out of money, and the one with the most wins the game.
That was amazing! We have to do this again right now!
Right now, we're doing it right now!
1 hour later.
Not feeling it.
Not feeling it.
Oh, it's not feeling it now!
Shut up.
As much as I love this game, it's one you only play every so often. The charm of the first playthrough hits so hard that any playthrough after that feels kind of lifeless, like the thrill was just sucked right out of you. It's still a good game. I really enjoyed my time with it. But if you want an exciting time playing the game, keep your playthrough spaced out.
Okay, that was a good time. Batman will give you that one. But are we done?
Sorry, man. Looks like we have a spider to visit.
Wait. Didn't you reject him from the Justice League at one point?
I never thought being with Damian would sound better than this. What? We all hate him. It's not a secret.
Spider-Man has been around for decades, and though he's had many versions for Monopoly, we'll be looking at the most recent version released in 2021. Instead of money, you use web tokens to defeat the villains, who are the properties this time around. Famous foes like Doc Ock and Venom, to lesser knowns like Chameleon and Shocker! Players take control of a spider hero, once again the more famous of the roster. Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Gwen, Silk, and well, they all couldn't be well known, I guess. Each one has a special power attached to them, like stealing webs for doubles or re-rolling the dice. But you need the power token, given by chance of the cards or by passing go. Railroads are different as well, since not only are there subways, you can go to any property you want when you land on them. They can be helpful, if not a tad chaotic, from the plentiful choices. But besides that, there's not much else to say aside from the cosmetic choices like Daily Bugle and Spider Sense cards. It's once again a decent version of Monopoly, perfect for any Spider fan. No, unless you wanted Spider-Girl or Noir, but maybe next time. What? Wasn't that an alright version of Monopoly? Wasn't that?
Come on. Just hurry it up. We already know you have another version.
Blow our minds or whatever, I don't care anymore. Now we're talking!
All those loot boxes are about to pay off! We've been here for a while, haven't we? Overwatch. Whatever you think of it now, especially with Overwatch 2, It made a huge impact in the late 2010s. So of course it's got its own Monopoly, this time attached to the short-lived Gamer series. Mario and Sonic both got a version, but Diva. Enough said.
Dibs on Diva!
Hey, hold on. We don't have a tracer piece.
Moving on!
You're still there, right?
Instead of money, you use HP chips to play. More on that later. Your goal is to make it around the board to collect the loot box. Once all the loot boxes are collected, the game is over. The points are tallied and the highest score wins. The points come from the said loot boxes and properties purchased through HP chips. It seems like an easy game, but the replayability comes from the playable characters. Overwatch is known for its roster of characters, each not only looking different, but playing different as well. 4 to 6 token characters, you have Reaper, Mercy, Lucio, Winston, Diva, and Tracer. Yeah, I kind of lost the Tracer piece, so yeah, there you go. Each one represents their class in the game, either tank, support, or damage. But Overwatch isn't without their teams, and that's where the other characters come in. You build a team of 1 damage, 1 support, and 1 tank. An ability is played each turn based on the ability die. This goes from dealing damage to other players, to protection, so on and so forth. This makes for an interesting concept since your team build can easily turn the tides of the game itself. This also includes the special spaces on the board. Payload brings the heroes to the next payload to advance. Health packs give you health based on the number die roll. Free parking this time forces a trade of properties. And finally, the ultimate ability special to each playable character.
So, that's it? What happens with the HP?
Well, in that case, you flip over an extra hero, reviving them by passing go. A flipped hero can't use their ability. If a hero is active and you want to swap, you can do so for 1 hero when you pass go, adding more strategy based on your needs.
This is actually really fun. It's strategic, but it's the point of pure enjoyment. Batman approves.
You know, I might even want to play Overwatch after this.
You don't.
Trust me, man. I may be evil, but it is not worth your time. Oh, come on. It can't possibly be that bad. They did what?!
One thing I like about the game too is that the instructions give you ideas for how to play based on other game modes. Mystery Hero selects your heroes for you with no swapping out. No Limits let you pick your preferred playstyle. 6v6 lets a 2-player game choose 3 playable characters and 3 others. And Lockout forces all characters to be swapped when passing go. They honestly did a fantastic job with this version. They took an idea like Overwatch and turned it into a fun variation worth coming back to multiple times. Out of all the versions so far based on gameplay, this is the one I recommend hands down. Whether you love Blizzard or you miss the old Blizzard, you really should look this version up.
Alright, we end on a high note. Who's with Batman?
I am. I mean, come on. What else could we possibly have?
You just had to ask! You're lucky your Christmas special was good.
Oh, shove it up your belfry.
Disney villains are just iconic. So much so, they've been merchandised up the wazoo in more ways than Disney hoping a live-action remake will actually work out. This leads us to Disney Villains Monopoly, where it blends classic Monopoly with gamer Monopoly. And you see where it's going, but hear me out first. You pick a playable villain: Maleficent, Jafar, Scar, Cruella, Hook, and the Evil Queen. You move around the board recruiting other villains like King Candy, Hades, Chernabog, and so forth. For the most part, the rest works like regular Monopoly, but here come the added twists. First is the Ring of Power. When passing go, or otherwise stated, you earn the Ring of Power and can use your character's abilities. You keep it until it goes away or it's taken, and that's not all. Vehicles allow you to go to any property you want. You can't grab the Ring of Power if you pass go, however. And finally, along with chance cards are poison apple cards that grant you perks when you want to use it, like stealing a property or taking rent.
Anyone else frustrated?
Here, here.
I'm a villain, and even I'm agitated. I was only supposed to appear for 1 season!
Hey, it's just that kid's kinda cute.
I thought she was your sister.
Bros, I gave up after Volume 5. Your guess is as good as mine. But to respect to all people who still watch the show, especially nowadays, good for you.
The combination of elements just make this version feel unbearable to play. Instead of picking up the pace, the abilities drag it down since in the end, it's about bankrupting everyone else like normal. I don't feel like a powerful Disney villain, I feel like the more after writing the plot for Recoded. Drunk and lifeless. I wanted it to be done after trying a test playthrough, and it said I'd rather play normal Monopoly than this version. This is Spider-Man Monopoly! You know what? Never mind. I'm done. I think my point's been made. Decent, I said before? Yeah? Sure. Why not? Same here. It's decent.
Great, so we're finally done. What is this?
Oh, that's Monopoly Deal. A card version of Monopoly
Okay, no,
where...
no, just no. How many versions of Monopoly are there?
Well, there's Avengers Monopoly, Sonic Monopoly, Naruto Monopoly, South Park Monopoly, Ghostbusters Monopoly, Target Monopoly, and not to mention special editions like Junior, Traveler, Cheaters, Miss Monopoly, though no one wants to remember that one, Millennium.
I have had less actors play me than the amount of versions of Monopoly we have. Why are there so many?
And most are just the same version with adequate fate. Batman takes offense to this!
I'd rather play New Super Mario Bros. At least that series of games have class.
Or even the Arkham games. I'll even take Call of Duty over this. What a complete waste of time.
Or were they?
What do you mean, Carrot Top?
You guys just mentioned games that stick to its formula, but tweak it every now and then to make it worthwhile. Right?
Yeah? And what? Oh my Wayne fortune.
Monopoly is just like another video game series. But why do I desire Monopoly more?
Genieous, take it over. No, really, this thing's about to fall on me. Hurry this up.
Sure, it feels like there's so many versions of Monopoly, and most feel near identical, save for the few that change it up. But couldn't you make the same argument for other games too? Chutes and Ladders, Candyland, heck, even video game series like Kirby, Splatoon, Mortal Kombat, and many more do the exact same thing. Seeing tons of versions of Monopoly in stores may seem overwhelming, and even pointless, but for the same game to have new releases all these decades later, and still have good memories attached to them, is still impressive. At the end of the day, it all boils down to what series or franchise you want to use, and there's nothing wrong with that. The core game can still be fun, no matter how long the game takes, but no matter how you play, enjoy the time spent with everyone. Roll the dice, take a chance, and perhaps you'll find enjoyment out of one of the longest lasting games in our history.
So, you guys want to go again?
Well, it honestly was kind of fun going through these versions with you guys. So, sure, I have time for at least one more.
What do you have in mind?
Well, I did just find this Rivals version. It's basically the same game Monopoly, but fine-tuned so that two people can play it for a simple time.
Ready to take on the Batman?
Oh, you are so on!
Let the games begin. I hope you brought the back credit card. In any case, I'm the gaming genius, and no matter what version of Monopoly you play, I hope you have a good time with your pals, and just enjoy your time together. In the meantime, the Disney Villains Monopoly idea gave me insight into what comes next. But until then, this gaming wish has just been granted. And in some ways, better than I could have hoped. You know, I measured the back credit card. I'm really surprised.
A back credit card?